All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking real music in real time for real people, just like you and just like me. So D. Snider blows a gasket. By the way, somebody really liked that phrase. I used it in another video, and I didn't realize how old the term blows a gasket is. I'm from New England, so it was kind of a normal thing to say. In any event, he says that people who don't do the thing and show up at one of his concerts they're invading his privacy. This is a bizarre argument from a guy who back in the late 80s and early 90s went before Congress to fight for free speech, you know, the right to drop N-bombs and S-bombs and F-bombs and all kinds of bombs in songs, because obviously that's art, right? That's fantastic art that we need to support. I'm for free speech. I just think it's kind of a stupid fight. See, the founders of the country, they were fighting for political speech, which right now is being banned left and right. So if you're somebody who wants to basically tell your side of the argument in an important issue, not your right to swear nonstop and drop the worst possible language in a song, you're looked at as a freak. But, you know, D. Snider, he fought for the right. So, you know, 2 Live Crew or whoever it was at the time could throw out as much profanity as they wanted to in a song, and people celebrated that. Not that I'm for censorship, I'm not, but it's interesting, you know, the hill that certain people are willing to die on. Now, when it comes to doing the thing, he says it invades his privacy. If I show up at one of his events, gig or talk or whatever he does these days, I'm not sure. All of these guys are really paranoid and afraid, it seems. There's tons of paranoia, right? So if I show up and I choose not to do what everyone is telling me to do, then it supposedly invades his privacy. I'm still trying to figure this out. Now, forcing me, though, to do something against my will, though, and to violate someone's bodily autonomy, right? Putting a substance in someone who doesn't want it, apparently that isn't an invasion of privacy. I mean, opposite day happens every day now. And these rock stars who are very self-absorbed, who think that people listen to them because what? They're experts, they're medical experts, like D. Snider, he's a medical expert. By the way, does any of this seem to be working? Now, the blame always goes on the people who aren't willing to do all these things because they see the evidence. By the way, African Americans in New York City, only 31% of them have done the thing. Now, if you know anything about the history of what our military has done in the past to African Americans with experiments, can you see why some of them are hesitant to do the thing? I can. I'd be like, no way. And they may have relatives or family members that were affected by this, and they have every right to not want to do the thing. I think they're actually doing the right thing by not doing the thing. But Snider, you know, this is all about him, right? This is all about his privacy being invaded, his life being threatened. Hey, D, if you want to jump inside a hermetically sealed area, right? Or if you want to wear a hazmat suit, because that would offer you, I think, pretty good protection. Again, I don't know if it's foolproof, but might be a good idea if this is really where you're at right now, rather than lambasting people who aren't going to go see you anyway. They're just not. He says in the article that I read that, hey, you know, Ted Nugent's available if you want to go to a concert, or Kid Rock, and you can, you know, do what you want to do there. Just don't show up at my events. Okay, fine, point taken. You don't have to twist my arm. I mean, what? You got 2 hits? The 2-hit wonder? I'm really going to worry about this? No, I'm not. And that's the other thing. This air of pretentiousness that all these people have. I mean, you're barely a blip. Hey, D, rock is kind of dead right now. Have you noticed? Nobody cares about what you're doing in your new album. Very few people. Yes, there are diehard rock fans that care. But it's kind of like people who watch the NFL. A lot of people used to watch football. They like football, but they don't care about it anymore. You know, they don't care. Same thing with baseball. Same with all, I mean, ESPN has become an almost unwatchable channel because of all of the messaging and all of the stuff that goes on that has nothing to do with sports. Okay. And telling people about your views on right to privacy and your medical expertise, D, nobody cares. You're not the expert. You think you're the expert because you pretend to speak well in public, and obviously you know how to drop a few F-bombs in articles to make your point. That doesn't make your point of view any more relative or relevant, rather. It makes you sound very desperate. Makes everybody who's on this side of the issue sound very desperate, like you're flailing, like you can't believe these people just won't get on board and do what you're doing. And the more you talk, the more resistant, hesitant, rebellious the rest of us are going to get. And, you know, you used to portray yourself as kind of a rebellious dude, at least in your rock songs. I mean, you can't get any more rebellious than "we're not going to take it anymore." And quite honestly, back at you, Mr. Snider, we're not going to take it anymore. So there you go. That's my video on the topic. More than happy not to go to a D. Snider concert.